Coming up on today's episode of the Steve Freeman Podcast, yes, we are going to talk about the Grammys. Last week, I've got thoughts. We're going to talk about that. Plus, we're going to talk about the political nature of the music business, some information that I think a lot of you need to know. That and so much more about what to expect on Season 8 of the podcast coming up today. I'm Steve Freeman. This is the Steve Freeman Podcast, brought to you by Found.
You're listening to the Steve Freeman Podcast, the real, raw truth about the pursuit of success in music, business, and life. Here's your host, hit songwriter, multi-platinum selling producer, and serial entrepreneur, Steve Freeman.
Well, the tax man is quickly approaching. And if you are self-employed like me, you hate this time of year. You're not really good at keeping up and keeping track of all your receipts and all of that for tax purposes. But my friends at Found have the answer. Found is business banking for the self-employed. It's easy to sign up, no credit check, no minimum balances, and no monthly fees. Because when you're self-employed, it's hard. You need to separate your business banking from your personal. You need to track your income and business expenses, and you got to do all the complicated self-employment taxes. Found takes care of all of it so that you can focus on the parts of your business that really matter and the parts of your job that you absolutely love. Found is a full-featured business bank account with business checking, business debit card, direct deposit, ATM access. It also has an all-in-one business income and expense tracker with automatic expense categorization, custom categorization rules, receipt capture, and note log. You can import transactions from other sources and invoicing programs. They make it simple. You also get real-time business reports. You need to go check out my friends at Found. If you're self-employed and you need a banking solution that helps you make the most out of your business, I'm telling you right now, Found is the answer. You can open an account for free in absolute minutes, under minutes. Found. It's business banking for the self-employed. Go check it out now. Go to get.found.app/Steve Freeman. That's get.found.app/Steve Freeman. Found. Business banking for the self-employed. Welcome, everybody, back to the launch of Season 8. Here we go. We're at the precipice, the beginning of a whole new season. And it signals a lot of changes for me. And we're going to talk about a little bit of those changes coming up on today's episode. But before we get into everything, don't forget, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please take 30 seconds, leave us a written review. Rate us those coveted 5 stars. I would greatly appreciate it. Also back and new with Season 8 is we are back with video versions. We're back on YouTube. However, we are at the new Steve Freeman Podcast YouTube channel, not my main channel. Make sure if you're watching this version to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. If you don't like it at all, you can hit the thumbs down button. Just make sure that you hit it twice. I am so glad that you guys are here. This whole thing, those of you that have been listening for a while know about this huge undertaking that we're making, and we're leaving Nashville and we are moving to Southern California. We're in the process of that now. The new studio's here, not quite complete. I'm a perfectionist, and so it's not exactly how I want it yet. And so that's a little frustrating to me. It's throwing my ADD off a little bit when everything is not set properly. But look, this has been a huge thing. The whole family came out last week for spring break. And there were, we took a break between the ending of season 7 and the beginning of season 8. And I took the entire week off, really didn't do hardly any work whatsoever at all. And it was nice. But then what it did was it threw me into this thing that I'm in now, which was trying to rush and get everything ready and everything together to be able to do today's podcast and today's video. And it just wasn't there. But I'm loving it here in Southern California. I'm so glad to not be in Nashville anymore. This has been a huge undertaking. I appreciate all of you guys for taking the ride. There's some interesting and fun things coming. I just have such a different mentality and a different outlook on things when I'm here in California versus when I'm in Nashville. I'm just not happy there anymore. I've got a video coming later this week on my main YouTube channel talking about the change, the move, why everybody's leaving California, moving to Nashville, and I'm going the other direction. I'm leaving Nashville and coming to Southern California. changing the way that I do my business, changing and backing away from the music business for the most part. If you're interested in that and you'd like to know why, you'd like to know the details, make sure you subscribe to my main YouTube channel. Links are in the description below of the video and the podcast episode in the show notes. There'll be a video up there, and that will explain everything. But anyway, let's get on with today's episode. I want to talk about the Grammys because last week we all sat down here in California and we were watching the Grammys. Because of COVID, I didn't go. I've been a member of the Recording Academy, a voting member of the Grammys for over 10 years, and so I don't always go. I can go, but I don't always go. This year, COVID made all of that differently. Should next year be different and COVID be behind us, then I probably will be attending the Grammys again. But watching it on TV, there's several kind of things that I want to discuss. I want to talk about. One, of course, let's just get the address the elephant in the room. Everybody's talking about the Cardi B performance. And I got to be honest with you, I am not a prude. Those of you that know me or have listened to the podcast or watched videos, I'm not a prude. I'm probably one of the most liberal people in that sense that you will ever know. I'm very conservative when it comes to, finances and business and things of that nature. But when it comes to the arts and music, and I'm very liberal in that. But I got to say, I was in shock at what I saw at Cardi B's performance, including Megan Thee Stallion. Look, I don't care what kind of music you like. I don't care what kind of music you listen to. If you like WAP, good for you. That's good. I personally, I think it's disgusting. Why do I think it's disgusting? Because when you look around at the PC culture that we are currently living in, we are canceling Dr. Seuss. We're canceling Gina Carano. All of these other things we can't do. We've taken Aunt Jemima off the syrup bottle. All of these things that could potentially offend someone in their delicate sensibilities. But yet, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion can basically get naked on national TV, grind on each other, and talk about wet-ass pussies. To me, that it's just a contradiction in terms. How can you get rid of Dr. Seuss, but it's okay to have Cardi B? One of the big things that's going around is that, the ratings, the television ratings service, the Grammys are rated PG, parental guidance. If you ask, again, coming from a guy who's very liberal when it comes to this kind of thing, how in the world can you rate that broadcast PG and show what they showed on national television? Now, Cardi B's gotten a lot of flack over this from, of course, the Republican Party, even members of Congress in California did not like it. I mean, some tweets went out. Of course, she misses no opportunity, but I believe he's a congressman here in California, Errol Weber, or was. He tweeted out, Cardi B cuts off WAP when her daughter, Culture, walks into the room. She looks embarrassed, talking about a video of that Cardi B posted, and says, this is how you know Cardi B knows right from wrong, yet still deliberately chooses to do wrong by gyrating and scissoring her WAP on national TV in view of other people's kids. Now, here's what Cardi B responded with. The Grammys are PG. That means parental guidance, meaning it's your job, like mine, like it is to my child, to monitor what they watch. My performance was around 10 p.m. on a Sunday. Your child would be in bed ready for school the next day. Why are they up watching WAP? There's an argument there to be made, but I don't care if the performance was at 10 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. To me, that has no place on television. I especially when you know that the format of music that you're making, by and large, the fan base for that music is going to be 12-year-old to 24-year-old kids. I mean, I'm 44. I can call a 24-year-old a kid. but you know who your fan base is. And just like my kids, I mean, my kids were on spring break, but still, my kids are 13 and 17. And because they absorb so much pop culture, they absorb so much music, that the Grammys is, the biggest night in music. I mean, that's the way they tout it. So knowing that, these kids are going to get to see Harry Styles, they're going to get to see BTS, they're going to get to see Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez and all these other people, of course they're going to be watching. So the excuse that she gives there, I don't buy into that. They know who's watching this program, which, by the way, viewership for the Grammys was at an all-time low. I think it's because of reasons like this. I personally watched it, and I mean, I don't know, I can't use the word offended. I wasn't offended because it takes a lot to offend me. But I was watching it in complete disbelief, going, we are saying that so many of these other things are not okay. But this is okay. We've just got such a double standard going on. And it really frustrates me. I want to talk about something about the Grammys that are, because I get when these award shows come around, I have people that are tweeting me, that are texting me, and they're asking me what I thought. Listen, this year, hardly anything that I voted for actually won in their category. The Grammys are very strange, and that this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about today. The music business is extremely political. I want to tell you, I want to put this out there, and I want to tell you, and when I say things like this, it is not popular. It is 1,000% the truth, but it's not popular. Listen, who you know will always trump your talent. The position of the people that you know at the various companies, whether it's publishing company, record label, management company, your relationship to those people and their position in these companies is far more important than your talent. It's far more important than your work ethic. It's far more important than your drive. The music business is 95% about business, 5% about music. It is a relationship business. I talk to so many young songwriters and young artists and very talented ones at that. And the questions that I always get are, Steve, I don't understand it. I'm not trying to be conceited, but I know my ability. I feel like I'm very talented. I feel like I have something to offer. I feel like I'm better than this person or this person or this person. And to be quite honest with you, in a lot of times, in a lot of those cases, these artists are. But they've worked on their craft. They've worked on their vocals. They've worked on their production. They've worked on all these other things that really just don't matter in the modern music business. I told somebody not long ago that if you really want to succeed in the music business, if you come to Los Angeles or you go to Nashville, or you go to New York or Miami or Atlanta, any of the hotbeds of music, Austin is one. You should focus 80% on getting to know people and building relationships and 20% on the music. Because your music isn't going to go anywhere unless you have the right relationships and the connections to get it that place that you want it to be. The reason, look, it's all about the social economics, not the financial economics or the music economics. I've talked before about Belmont. Most of the people that are signed to record deals now at the labels that you want to be a part of, most of the writers that are signed to the publishing companies that you want to be assigned to, that you want to be signed to, or you want to be affiliated with, most of them are all there because they went to Belmont together. Again, it's a relationship thing. I've got a friend of mine who's one of the top songwriters in Nashville. I don't know how many number ones the guy's had over the last 5 years. 12, 13, 14, 15. One of the top. He's a good writer. Don't get me wrong. He could even be classified as a great writer. But he has only had the success that he has had because of the relationship. He went to Belmont. He was friends with this person. This other person that he was friends with didn't want to be an artist, didn't want to be a songwriter, didn't want to be a producer. They wanted to be an executive. They wanted to run the publishing company. So when that person got their opportunity, what did they do? They went and they signed all of their friends. That's how this business works. It's gears. It's gears moving together, locking together, moving in and out together, but all working and running at the same time. So when you, as a new artist or a songwriter, you want to go to Nashville, you want to come to Los Angeles, and you want to make it, and you're thinking that you're going to make it based on your talent as a songwriter, as an artist, as a musician, you're forgetting the key component here. This is a political business. It is more about who you know than what you can do. What you can do doesn't even matter. How great of a singer you are doesn't matter unless you know somebody and have a relationship with somebody who can take what it is that you do and put it on a platform. The music business is very, very, very incestuous. You know, everybody laughs and jokes, talks about the 6 degrees of separation when it comes to like Kevin Bacon. There are 2 degrees of separation in the music business. It is all about 100% about who you know and what position of power those people have. Now, look, you can't complain about it because I think it's very smart. How many times have we talked in the past on the podcast or in videos about pieces of puzzles? How if you really want to succeed in anything, the best thing that you need to do and the thing you got to figure out really quick is that you're not going to have all the pieces to your puzzle. Number one, it's just impossible. You've gone to the store. You've bought this puzzle in a box. It's a 1,000-piece puzzle, but I promise you, especially when it comes to business and the music business in particular, you're not getting all 1,000 pieces. You're going to get 850. So you've still got 150 pieces out there somewhere. Those pieces are owned by other people. And the really smart people go, okay, I know what pieces I've got. I can assemble the puzzle with the 850 pieces that I have. Now I need to see what pieces I'm missing, and I need to go find those pieces. That's how the people that are having a lot of success in business and in the music business, that's how they're having that success right now. They've assembled their 850 pieces, and now they go out and they find the people that have the other 150 pieces that they don't have. Now, the other side of that coin is true as well, because the people that have your 150 pieces, they've got their own 850 that they need pieces from you. So when you wonder, why am I not making it? Why am I not seeming to move forward? Why I'm putting in the work, I'm being persistent, I'm being consistent, I'm sacrificing. Why? You're missing the key component. You're looking for pieces of your puzzle that have already been given out. Mainly because you either went to town, came to town, did whatever it is that you're going to do, thinking that your puzzle had all 1,000 pieces in the box. And all you've got to do is assemble that puzzle and then go show somebody how awesome the puzzle is. You move to town, you come to town with the thinking that it is your art, it is your creativity, it is your talent that is going to take you to the next level and get you noticed. It is not. It is all relationship. 1,000% relationship. I'm going to say it again. It's more about who you know than what you can offer, what you can do, what your talent is. I feel that if you know that information, maybe now is a good time to change directions. If you're out there and you think, man, I'm writing great songs, I'm producing great music, but it's not going anywhere, it's because you're placing it in the wrong place. You're thinking about it all wrong. You are trying to get into a circle or into a room that's already full. Think of it in terms like this. How many times in movies or television shows have you seen the thing where everybody wants to get into this exclusive club, right? And everybody wants to go to the club. Well, there's always the doorman. And what always happens? The doorman lets in the people he knows. There's a long line down the side of the building that people want to get in, but some people are just allowed to walk right up, go right past the line, And because they have a relationship with the bouncer lets them in. As ridiculous as it sounds, that is the music business. That is the music business. Just, it's sad, but it's true. How many of you are standing in line outside the club? You're out there and you're thinking you're out there, in the freezing cold. You're out there in the burning sun, in the heat in the summertime. You keep showing up. You keep getting in line, but you never get in the club. Meanwhile, you watch all these people walk right around the line and up to the bouncer. They do some sort of secret handshake and a little half hug, and off into the club they go. And you're standing there going, how the hell does that happen? Why are they getting in and I'm not? I'm telling you why. So if that's you, if you're out there today and you are standing in this line and you realize that you've been standing in the line for a very long time, get out of the line. Stop thinking that you're going to show up and today's the day you're getting in the club. See, that's another mistake. Everybody thinks, oh, it didn't happen today, it'll happen tomorrow. Well, it didn't happen this time. Maybe it'll happen next time. Maybe next weekend. And then and then what happens is you keep going over and over and over, and more and more and more time goes by. And then what happens is you inevitably get stuck on that treadmill that I always talk about, the music business treadmill, where you are doing a lot, but you're not getting a lot done. You're running in place. You're just showing up and standing in that line. If that's you, stop standing in line and start building relationships. Get to know the bouncer. Whatever it takes. Look, I've seen people do things like, send cookies, send flowers, send a dozen donuts. Find out who the gatekeepers are. Find out who the people that you need to have the relationships with are. Find out who they are. And stop worrying about writing that next song that you think is going to get you past the gatekeeper. Forget trying to produce that next record that you think is going to get you past, because I'm going to tell you something else. Here's another little secret. They have everything they need. They have everything they want. And there is very few of you out there that are creating something better than what they already have. A lot of this responsibility can fall on you because you're not doing something that stands out that can get attention. If you really want to do that, if you really want to stand in the line, you got to stand out in the line. But then you go, well, Steve, there's all these other people and they're succeeding and they're doing exactly what I'm doing. Why can't I get? Because of the relationship. When you have the right and proper relationship, you can afford to be a copycat. You can afford to be the next Taylor Swift. You can afford to be the next Maren Morris. You can afford to be the next Bruno Mars when you've got the relationship. But when you're a nobody and you don't have that relationship and all you're doing is focusing on your craft, focusing on songwriting, focusing on producing, it's got nowhere to go. This business, just like the Grammys, listen to this. This is how the Grammys work. Very rarely does something that just truly, honestly deserves a Grammy win a Grammy. Like I said, I've been a voting member for over 10 years. I can nominate people for Grammys. I can nominate my own projects that I produce for Grammys. Here's what happens. So the initial first rounds go out and everybody gets voting. My inbox goes absolutely berserk when Grammy season rolls around because people are buying and bartering those votes for those Grammys. My inbox gets flooded. Hey, I'm nominated in this category for this song. If you'll vote for me, then I'll vote for you in this category over here. The labels, even though they compete against each other, they barter these votes. If they really want so-and-so to win, best rap album, but a competing label has one that's up for country, they'll go, hey, if you give us your votes for best rap album, we'll give you our votes for best country album because we don't have a country artist that's nominated. That's how all of this happens. What's odd is country music seems to be the only one that is like, huh? And at times can be what's most authentic. I mean, Vince Gill won one this year for like best country performance, I think it was, and beat out all of the most popular people in the category. I love Vince Gill. I have nothing against Vince Gill. He's extremely talented. I love it when you see people win Grammys that haven't had a single on the radio in 20 years. I love it because to me, the Grammys really should be about the process and the record. It should be about the greatness of the record. It shouldn't be a popularity contest like everything else. I don't care what something sells. Casey Musgraves, a couple of years ago, when she won all of those Grammys, her record had sold less than 100,000 copies worldwide. That doesn't bother me. It was a great record. They made Shane McAnally and her made an amazing sounding record. It wasn't popular, but it was great. And it won Grammys, and it deserved to win Grammys. This year, I was a little upset. Look, I have nothing against Billie Eilish. I did a whole podcast episode on her not long ago. But honest to God, sales-wise, greatness, creativity, popularity, when it's all thrown in there, I voted for Post Malone. I think Hollywood's Bleeding should have won Record of the Year. My opinion, that's what I voted for. Taking nothing away from Billie Eilish or nothing away from Taylor Swift, I think Folklore is an amazing record. You pop that thing on and listen to it sonically, it's amazing. And the producer in me and the songwriter in me are jealous when I listen to things like that. And that's what turns me on. If I'm ever going to get back to the place where I feel like I want to make music again and I want to produce records again and I want to write music again, I want to listen to great records. I want to listen to something that doesn't sound like everything else out there. And I think Taylor Swift did a good job of that. I think Billie Eilish is on an island unto herself, and good for her. I'm all for her winning any award and every award that she gets because her and her brother Phineas are creative. They're original. I'm all for that. But I still think Post Malone should have won. But look, this, like I said, it's political. It's all relationships. 1,000% relationships. If you are listening today, there are a lot of you, because I hear from many thousands of you. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm going to look for those of you watching. I'm looking directly into the camera. I am not trying to discourage you. I'm trying to point you in the right direction. So don't get offended and don't say, well, Steve's saying we can't make it. And Steve's not saying that. If anything, I'm showing you and uncovering the yellow brick road. I'm telling you, and if you find it offensive to hear that your talent doesn't matter in the music business, you obviously have not turned on the radio lately. Absolutely. There are some talented people out there, but they make up 10%. The rest of it is this Cardi B crap. Just crap that is meant to grab the attention of a 12-year-old. That's it. So I'm not trying to discourage you. If anything, I'm trying to point you in the right direction so that you do have a shot. Take what it is that you're doing. Absolutely spend time putting into your craft. Learn your craft. I tell that to songwriters all the time. Learn the craft of songwriting. See, I believe, and I've said this before, and people get so upset when I say this, but it's the truth, and I'm not going to stop saying it. I believe songwriting is a craft. I believe it is a talent. I don't believe it can be taught. Sure, you can teach somebody about pentameter. You can teach somebody about rhyming. You can buy a rhyming dictionary. You can talk about structure, and you can teach structure. But much like a highway, you've got a yellow line on this side and a yellow line on that side. Those you can show. You can show somebody where the lines are. But the craft is what happens between those lines. The greatness happens between the confines. I believe that that's where the talent is. That's where the craft is. I don't believe that you can teach somebody to be a great songwriter. I believe you have the talent or you don't. There are too many people out there that are having a career as songwriters right now that shouldn't. They don't have the talent, but they have the relationship. See how all that ties back together? You don't have to have the talent. You don't have to have the craft. You don't have to have all that when you've got the right relationships. Now, listen, I want to be very careful because I want to, so many people take words and put words into my mouth, say things that I said that I didn't say. I want to make it very clear. There are so many talented people in Nashville, so many talented people here in Los Angeles, So many talented people in New York, talented songwriters, talented producers, and they are having a lot of success, and it is 1,000% deserved. But again, it's 10%. So many people are finding and having success right now because of the relationships that they built. And I guess what I'm saying is if you want a level playing field, maybe you should worry less about the songwriting, less about the music, and start focusing on your relationships. Because if you're 100% secure in your abilities as a songwriter or your abilities as an artist to communicate with other people and to engage with other people and resonate. Resonate's a big word I've been using lately because I think there are a lot of artists out there that they have the relationships, but they don't resonate with the public. That's why you see a lot of what's going on, and I'm going to be talking about this in an upcoming episode, but you see a lot of what's going on right now in the business of pushing people forward because of one reason or the other, because of relationships. Maybe it's because we need more diversity in country music. They're being thrust to the forefront, even though no country music fans have any idea who they are whatsoever. Case in point, Mickey Guyton. Now, look, Mickey and I have had our issues in the past. She's called me a racist. She's called me everything in the book, all because I said something. I made some facts. I stated some figures and some facts about female artists. But look, that were true, by the way, had nothing to do with race, had nothing. It was just the truth about female artists in country music. A lot of people don't like seeing or hearing the truth, but it is the truth. You can go find that episode. You can go find that video. You can watch it. You can decipher for yourself. But what's going on right now, because they're wanting more diversity in country music, Mickey Guyton is being thrust forward as the black artist in country music. Now, forget the fact that we've got Kane Brown having success. We've got Jimmy Allen having success. We've got Darius Rucker having success. We've got several minorities that are having success in country music right now. Probably not enough. There are a lot more out there that are very talented, that have great voices, great songwriting ability. They will resonate with the public, and the labels need to do a better job of signing more people of color, more minorities. Everybody's welcome as far as I'm concerned. But the genre right now is pushing Mickey Guyton forward. It's troubling to some people because because of the relationships, they're making her seem like everybody knows who she is. This is Mickey. Nobody knows. Real country. I know. People in the industry know. People that have been around the industry forever. She's been signed to Universal forever. But she doesn't resonate with average, ordinary country music fans. I'm not saying it's because she's black. I'm not saying it's because she's female. There are a lot of people that just don't resonate. There's a lot of white artists that just don't. Look, not everybody makes it. I was having a conversation, a DM war the other day with somebody talking about this very thing. Not everybody's going to make it. What I don't understand is in a business where you have a better shot of winning the lottery or showing up at a casino and laying $1 million down at a roulette table and betting it all on red 23, you have a better shot of winning there than you ever do of having even 10% success in the music business. What I don't understand is when we know these odds, why when somebody doesn't make it do we always have to go, well, it's because country music's racist, or it's this reason or that reason? How come it's never that maybe that artist just doesn't resonate with the buying public? Because look, these record labels are in it for business. It is a business. They are in it to make money. They're not in it to make you happy. They're not in it to make music that everybody enjoys. They're not in it for the entertainment value. They are in it to make money. When they sign an artist, they expect that artist to sell. When an artist doesn't resonate with the public, they don't sell. I don't understand why we always have to jump to this conclusion that it must be because she's a woman, or it must be because he's black, or she's black, or he's Mexican, or she's... Why does it have to be that? Why can't it just simply be that person is like the other 20 million people out there that want to be in the music business that just aren't going to make it? But again, that's a topic for a whole... Like I said, I've got a whole episode planned on that. And look, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to downplay anybody, but I'm just saying, you look on all these different posts, especially with having to do with the Grammys and Mickey Guyton performing on the Grammys, and now she's what is it, hosting the CMAs, co-hosting the CMAs. And by and large, the comments on all that stuff is, who's Mickey Guyton? And that's not anybody being racist. I had somebody the other day try to tell me that because people didn't know who Mickey Guyton was, that was people being racist. I swear. So yeah, people, real average, ordinary people go, why is she hosting the ACM Awards, the CMA Awards? I guess it's the ACM Awards. They're next. I don't go to that shit anymore. I quit going about 7 years ago. So I don't go to the award shows. I'll go to the Grammys, but I don't go to like the CMAs or the ACMs or any of that stuff anymore. So I know who she is. Other people in the industry know who she is. But real average, ordinary people don't know who she is. And so when you try to tell me or pass off that the fact that I'm pointing out that people don't know who she is, that makes these people racist? Seriously. The main part of what I wanted to get across today was the political aspect of the music business. It's the Grammys, it's the publishing companies, it's the record labels. Guys, it is 1,000% about the relationship. I hope that you have listened to this today, the message today, and realized maybe you're aiming at the wrong target. Maybe you're aiming at better production, getting better as a vocalist. And I'm all for that. Look, you should be spending time on your craft every day, whether it's writing songs, producing records, playing guitar, working on your vocals. You should be doing all that. But at the end of the day, none of those things are going to get the proper light shown on them if you don't have the relationship. So maybe you used to years ago in the music business or in the radio business, we had a clock that represented the hour. So maybe we had music for the first 20 minutes and at the quarter hour we had 3 minutes of commercials. And that's how we broke up the broadcast clock, the hour clock. You need, as an artist, as a songwriter, draw your clock up and go, okay, I'm going to spend so much amount of time working on my vocals. I'm going to spend so much time learning new software and working on my songwriting, working on the craft. But then I'm going to reserve time to starting to build relationships. A key component of this is, guys, listen, going out to these little BS songwriters rounds all around Nashville, playing in those, not going to get anywhere. The people that make the decisions don't go to those things. Mainly because the people that make the decisions are not looking for you. They've got so many relationships, they've got so many irons in the fire that they're not looking for you. They don't need you. You need to figure out how to build more relationships with people that actually matter. You know, we've talked about this in the past. I try to live my life by the 33% rule. And that is, I like to spend 33% of my time with people who are more successful than me, that are doing things that I want to do, that I hope to accomplish. Then I spend 33% of my time with people that are at my level. And then I spend 33% of my time with people that are not at my level yet, but that are trying to get here. And you add all of those up, like, you get good at it because of songwriting splits, but 33.4, 33.3, and 33.3. Add all that up, you get as close to 100% as you can. But think about that. Physically sit down and think about how you're spending your time. Are you spending more time trying to make the music, or are you spending enough time making the relationships with people that can actually get your music to go somewhere? I hope you listened up today. I hope you got something out of it. I'm sure there are going to be many of you that are upset and pissed off at me, but look, it's just the way that it is. Truth hurts. I can tell you this. I'm so glad. I'm looking forward to season 8. The studio is not where I want it to be yet, but over the coming days, it probably will be. By the time the next episode rolls around at the end of the week, I probably will have it a lot further along than what it is right now. Even though I complain so often about the video versions, I'm glad and happy to be back with the video versions. If you're listening to the podcast and you would like to see the video versions, the link to the Steve Freeman Podcast YouTube channel, not my main channel, but the podcast channel, the links are in the description below. Again, don't forget, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click that like button. Leave us a comment. Doesn't take very long. I love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to follow me on social media, either at the Steve Freeman on all platforms. I think I'll probably be uploading the videos to the Facebook page as well, and the podcast Facebook, the private podcast Facebook group, which if you're not a member, we would love to have you as a member. So go check it out. It's the Steve Freeman Podcast. Just type that in search on Facebook and you'll find the group. Myself or one of the moderators will approve you right away. Guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm loving it here in Southern California. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad you're here. And I'm looking forward to what Season 8 is going to bring. Also, don't forget to check out the sponsors of today's show, Found, business banking for the self-employed. They make it so easy. Go to get.found.app/Steve Freeman. Guys, until the next episode, dream big. Work harder.
Systems initiated. You are listening to the Empire Podcast Network.